What's up everyone, I'm Amber and today I'm going to show you how I raised my first orphan foal and how I keep her looking happy and healthy just as if she was on her mama, and how I do it on an all forage diet. You savage. Lordy B. This is Savvy. Savvy is a 3-month-old quarter horse filly. She is by Chicago's Cash and out of my really good mare, Nitro's Tari Time. Now, you may know Tari from several videos I have posted on here already. She got me my very first world championship, and I got to take her to my very first Congress. You can go back several vlogs and watch that. We had a really good showing and then also a not really good showing. That was not long after we had a really big accident, and it was a bit of a trip, let's just say that. Unfortunately, Savvy here, who is now tearing up my golf cart, she lost her mama at 4 weeks old. Now, what happened with Tari, I'm going to try and explain this without getting too teary-eyed. But what happened was Tari suffered from what's called post-foaling colon torsion. If you don't know what that is when their colon really just twists, just at random. Unfortunately, we lost her mama. She wasn't going to be able to be saved anyway. But I'm going to show you all the diet plan, because I mean, look how shiny she is. Like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to not cast any shadows, but like, just look at how shiny and healthy she looks. I have been asked so many times to do an in-depth, detailed video on her diet and how I have raised her to look just as good as if she was on her mama, and I do it all on an all forage diet. So let's get into it. Let me preface this by saying I'm not a vet. I'm not a vet. So everything that I am going to say is just a suggestion and based on what I have learned and what I currently do for my mare. Definitely please seek veterinary advice when dealing with an orphan foal. A good vet is going to help you tremendously when raising an orphan baby. So best case scenario, if you have an orphan foal, is to, find a nurse mare that can take the mama's place. That definitely, if you can go that route, cheapest, best way you can go about raising an orphan foal. However, if you're in my situation and you were not able to get a nurse mare, this video is for you. So first and foremost, the milk. I was feeding her the ProLite in the beginning, and I noticed, like, because they have added acid in it, because how that milk replacer works is they want you to feed like 3 buckets in the morning, 3 buckets at night, and just let them creep feed. Well, I don't have the option to creep feed, one, because the flies. I do not, absolutely not, no flies. I do not like seeing flies sitting in milk. So I was absolutely not going to just leave milk in a bucket and be in the middle of summer and have flies just, tarnish it anyway. But the more research that I did, I learned that the proper fat to protein ratio was like really, really important. And the ProLite just didn't quite have like the right balance of fat to protein. So with all the research I have done, the Mare's Match by Purina was the absolute best milk replacer I could find. It is a lot more expensive. However, I feel like this is so much better. It's a lot more balanced. I noticed on the ProLite, she was also starting to get a little bit of that potbelly gut, which I was absolutely like dreading. My biggest fear when we lost Tari was Savvy being stunted and she getting that potbelly, that spiny top line, that little scrawny neck. No, I did not want to deal with that. So I was like, whatever it costs, I've already got a lot of money into this baby. Whatever it costs, we're going to feed her right. And so I know a lot of people have suggested goat's milk. You can do goat's milk. However, I have seen a lot of foals as a farrier. I have seen a lot of babies raised on, multi-species milk replacer, cheap horse milk replacer, also goat's milk. This, by far, the best I have found, and even better than goat's milk. With the milk replacer, she got 7 feedings throughout the day. And because I do farrier work, I'm able to control my own schedule. So I know it's going to be hard for some people to be able to follow that all the way through. So maybe, you know, doing the creep feed in the morning and then creep feed at the night is something you can do. But remember, in the summer, you're going to have a lot of insects and flies getting into the milk. So just keep that in mind. How I would go about her evening feeding, so I could sleep, was in the evening she would get her half gallon, because again, this is all half gallons. She'd get a half gallon, she'd drink that, and then I would go and put another half gallon in that she could sip on throughout the night. And I did that until she was about 9 weeks old, and then I started to back off of her feeding. She is now 3 months old, and she gets 4 feedings throughout the day because she's now eating a lot more alfalfa and hay and other forage. So I've not had to feed as much milk replacer, and she's still holding her weight so well. Along with the milk replacer, she was getting 24/7 pure alfalfa. And also when they're turned out during the day, because she gets stalled at night to make sure that she gets all of the hay that she needs. But when she's turned out during the day, she also has access to like orchard grass hay. So she can choose between the pure alfalfa and the orchard grass hay. So that's something I like to do, just kind of like have an option of hay that they can choose from. Next, and so let's come over here and I'll show you my feed routine when it comes to the all forage aspect of it. So like I said, my horses are all forage. Savvy is no exception to that. One reason why she is all forage is simply because I could not get her to eat anything else. I really did try to like give her grain because again, I was desperate, right? I was desperate for her to not be one of those orphan foals that had that big pop belly, you know, ugly top line and just ugly looking coat, right? Absolutely was not going to deal with that. So my horses all get the Alfalfa Timothy pellets by Stan Lee. I love the mix of the alfalfa and Timothy, again, because I just like to have a different blend of grasses because each grass has different nutrients in it. So the more diverse your forage is, the less you're going to have to supplement into their diet. So this is what I'm soaking right now. That is Rip. Rip gets a little bit of beet pulp with his feed. This is Evie's. Evie and Savvy like share a soaking basically. So Savvy's tub, I'll put it there when it's time to feed her, and I'll just scoop whatever is soaked in here into her tub, and then I'll just add the supplements there. And I'll also give just a little bit of the soaked beet pulp. I'll put it in with Savvy's food as well, just because she does seem to really enjoy the beet pulp as well. So again, Savvy gets what Savvy wants. What everyone I'm sure is wanting to know, supplements. The bag is too big, but I do feed Vermont blend. All my horses get a little bit of Vermont blend. Savvy, I just sprinkle a little bit on it. If I put too much on it, like if I put the recommended amount for her weight, she will not touch it. So I just put the amount on that I know she will eat. So she does get the Vermont blend, which does have a lot of the vitamins and minerals that they do need. However, I do add a couple other things. This is just a scoop, but she does get, I fill it to about here. Of this, I think this is a 2-ounce scoop. So she gets like a 1/4 ounce of the Triple Crown Golden Ground flax seed. She gets that twice a day. She also gets the probiotic from Silver Lining Herbs. I absolutely love this. I have noticed a big difference in my horse's coat. They've gotten a lot shinier. A probiotic is really important for any horse, really, whether you have just a pasture pet or a performance horse. I mean, especially if you have a performance horse, because this is going to help protect their digestive system from, say, like ulcers. And if your horse does have ulcers, this is going to help soothe their tummy. I definitely recommend you can use code MISFIT with Silver Lining. This is not a sponsored segment. I am just an affiliate with them. But you can use code MISFIT to get 10% off. I think it's 10% right now, off of your entire order site-wide. And lastly, for Savvy, she gets I do add a little bit of biotin in her feed just once a day. She gets, probably, this is about a teaspoon, so maybe a 1/4 teaspoon a day. I'm not sure. It just basically covers the bottom. That is it. I mean, that's literally all it is. And she looks so good. I do feel like the alfalfa hay and the milk replacer, those two things together are probably the 2 most important things in her diet. The alfalfa hay especially, because if you have a horse, like it doesn't matter if your horse is like an adult or a baby, if you have bad quality hay and you're trying to feed all forage diet and you're finding that it's a lot more expensive than it was feeding them grain, it's because your hay quality is bad. Change your hay, you know, pay a little bit more for good quality hay, and you will spend way less on the other end, like in supplements and the pellets and everything else. You'll find you'll need far less of those to keep your horses fat, because the bulk of your horse's diet should be in hay, not grain. So yeah, that is Savvy's diet and everything that I do to help keep her looking just as if she was on her mama. I also have her turned out with 2 other horses, because that's one thing as a farrier I have seen a lot of orphan foals become like really dangerous and not a whole lot of fun to work with, because the owners, they don't have a horse that they can put the babies with, or the owners themselves are not like trainers. So the babies come out to be like really pushy and almost like dangerous. They have a lot of dangerous tendencies because the owners just kind of let them walk all over them. So if you have a good mare or even a gelding, donkey, pony, doesn't matter. If you have a good animal that you can put out with the foal, specifically, you know, another equid, like, you know, donkey, horse, that would be so much better for that baby, to teach them, you know, how to be a horse. That is so important. And that is currently what Savvy is getting now. She's got 3 other horses that she can hang out with, and I just kind of rotate them around. Just kind of depends, because the horses she is with, I do still show. So there's that. I hope this video helped somebody. Again, please consult with your vet when it comes to an orphan foal, and if you can get a nurse mare, do that, because a nurse mare is going to save you so much more money and headache in the long run. But again, if you are stuck in this situation like I was and unable to get a nurse mare, hopefully this video helped you out. I will have everything linked down below, all of the a link to all the supplements that I use, the milk replacer, everything. The milk replacer you have to get from, I think, directly from Purina, because Chewy does not carry it. I hope that helps. So I will see you all in the next video, and until then, work hard and stay misfits. What you want? What you want? What you want? Aren't you just pretty? Say, you so pretty. You're so pretty. Look at your little rope burn. That was very smart. That was so intelligent. You're a good girl.